And yeah, we are live. Hey guys, we got a packed, jammed session for you today. We're going to piss you off with, I don't think I've ever heard anybody explain taxes so well than this 52-second piece that I'm about to play for you with Joe Rogan. And I think it's going to piss you guys off as well. So let's go ahead and see if we can get to that one piece real quick. I know I had it all queued up before. Righty. Share screen. Here we go. Can you guys see my screen?
I can.
Okay, great. Let's cue it up. You see that? Oh, you still see the telegram?
Oh, I see Telegram.
Sorry?
I see Telegram.
Nothing else, right?
Nope.
Okay, so then I got to play it differently. I apologize. Even I have problems with this. See that?
It's an X post. Click on the X post link. So within Telegram, it's on an X post. You see that?
Screen share?
No,
Okay.
no. Okay, on Telegram, you see the picture of
Joe Rogan.
Joe Rogan, thank you. And then right above it, it has an X link. Click on the X link, and that'll open it up into X.
There we go. I got it. Here we go. This is the one. This is the guy on Joe Rogan. So let me rewind this.
Holy shit. He's really good.
How did we go from fighting a revolution over a 2% tax on a breakfast beverage to what we pay today? We're taxed on money when we receive it, when we spend it, when we keep it, when we invest it, and even when we die with it. We commute to work to make that money in a car that is taxed again to register on roads we're already taxed to build, fueled by gas that is taxed even further, and through tolls that tax you again to maintain bridges and highways and tunnels that already have billions of taxpayer dollars allocated to them, and they're still falling apart. Then when you get to your office that is taxed to exist, in a corporation that is also taxed to do business, that almost certainly requires permits, which are another tax, you are paid a paycheck that the corporation must match another payroll tax on top of what they have to pay you. Then you go to a home of which you are taxed to own that we bought with money that the government already taxed us on. Oh, by the way, the more money you make and the more you pay in taxes warrants the government taking more and even higher percentages of your money.
Holy shit.
Exactly. Holy shit is probably a good analogy. What do you guys think about that? Have you ever heard it? Anybody put it better than that guy? I don't think I have. Where are you guys? Did you guys hear anybody ever put it, crystallize it that clear?
Oh yeah, I mean I've seen many people because I follow a lot of stuff on where people are talking about the taxes and just how overburdened they are, and yeah, that is well, I mean, you guys ever seen the bumper sticker or the shirt? It says our forefathers would be shooting by now.
Yes.
Yeah. So I
mean, and
like,
he doesn't even get into just like going into just the simple item that you buy and how many times it's been taxed before you even buy it. So
right. And you know what? I mean, and let's just say this: thank God we don't have a VAT system.
Yeah. That's all you need, right?
Well, you know what the VAT system is, right?
Yeah, value-added tax.
Yeah, so every time it touches the hands of somebody, it gets taxed even further. So by the time that it gets to the end user, it's very highly taxed. So, I don't. I recognize that the government is going to need money to operate, but when you realize that the biggest sham of the whole tax thing is the Federal Reserve. Well, when the Federal Reserve was created, the Federal Reserve essentially funds all of government. It funds Washington and it funds the states, and that's how Washington maintained centralized control over the states. That's how they co-opted control away from the states, was by reversing the flow of money. Prior to the 16th and 17th Amendments, and the Federal Reserve Act, the whole purpose of the states was the states had control over the budget, specifically the Senate, And if the senators didn't approve the budget, then the state didn't have to send their money in, because it's like they're like, no, you're mishandling this money. So the state wasn't responsible to send in the money because the government was mishandling it. So, but
Absolutely.
anyway, to your point, yes, it's absurd. The biggest thing is, and I'll end with this, is when I'm sure you guys have heard the story of, I work X amount of days to pay for everything that I pay to the government, and it's like every year it extends like a day or two. I think now we're up to like what, the end of May.
Mhm.
Basically, you work till almost the end of May, and everything that you earn to the end of May is ultimately taken by the government.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And where is that money? And where's that money really going, right? Because we all know where it really goes.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they try to convince us, if you don't pay taxes, you're not going to have nice roads, and you're not going to be able to, like, that's always the thing. How are we going to fix the roads? Meanwhile, it worked perfectly fine before income tax when they were using tariffs. So it's all
tariffs. We didn't. I mean, in fairness, we didn't have roads when we had tariffs. I mean, they're all dirt, but because it was still, at that point in time, it was, for the most part, it was still horse and buggy. But to your point, what pays for the roads is not income tax. What
That's
pays
right.
for the roads is gas tax.
Exactly.
And registration fees.
And not to mention that, but forgetting about all that, when you consider the fact that the Federal Reserve is not part of the government, it's a private bank. The IRS is the collection arm of this private bank. So where's the money really going in the end? And I think we know where it travels to when you're talking about.
I think Donald Trump needs to step up his efforts and put an end to this now. I think people are awake. People are educated. We want an end to it. We want an end to it now. Not later, now.
Well, wait till you find out the biggest scandal that's going to come up. That's the lottery. Like, the state of California uses the lottery to subsidize the tax base. Wait till you see what the California has done. Billions and billions and billions and billions and billions and billions of dollars that have completely disappeared. And by the way, I would dare say that the California lottery, it's also rigged. It's rigged 100%.
Frank, how long have you lived in California?
40 years.
Okay, so you were here when the lottery first came out?
Yeah, it's the biggest scam ever.
Yeah, well, because my father was on the school board at my local town when the way that the lottery was sold was that it was going to augment and increase the funding for the school system. That was how they sold the lottery. Like, when you bought a lottery ticket, what it was going to do is that, it was going to generate revenue, and that extra revenue was going to go to the schools. Well, my dad very aptly said, he said, you know what? He said, yeah, what they're going to do is they're going to take the money that's already allocated for the schools, and then they're just going to replace it with the lottery money, and then repurpose the money that's already going there. It's not going to increase the amount of money that's going to go into the schools. It's just going to replace the money that's already allocated for the schools.
Yeah,
and that's exactly what did happen.
Well, let's get to our next.
I don't think it's happening anymore. I don't think a lot of them.
I agree. I agree.
All right, let's get
and
to our
by the way,
next
one
video.
song that you should have, somebody really talked about the taxes, was Taxman by the Beatles. If you played that song, it clearly lists all of the superfluous taxes and how taxation, it's basically mismanagement, because the only way to have a fair tax system is to tax on consumption, not on accumulation. Because if you tax on accumulation, you're cutting off the legs of the people that try to actually create wealth for their family. And then where you have a dichotomy where you have people that come from families like, for example, the Rothschilds, or other family like the Getty. And all of those families that created basically trusts back in the 1800s, and nobody's questioning those trusts today. No one. And they have billions of dollars in those trusts. And the regular people do not understand the trust system. And even if they were to understand it, a lot of those benefits from trusts that are afforded to every single American have been tapered down, and because of the Patriot Act during the Bush administration. So once the Patriot Act came out, all the trusts became, in a way, not null and void, but anybody that wanted to do a trust is not able to do it anymore. Because it used to be, before the Patriot Act, you can walk into a bank and open a trust account using an EIN, and then that EIN will be canceled, because then the IRS will realize the trust was an irrevocable trust. They will cancel it, but you still retain your bank account forever. And then you also, before that, you were able to open accounts without using a social security number. After the Patriot Act, no one was able to do that anymore. So the whole trust system, unless you pay a lawyer $5,000 to $10,000 to create a trust, it's not a viable thing today, unless they go back to and remove a lot of these constitutional violations of rules like the Patriot Act, that it's an obvious violation to the Constitution. And that's the situation. That's what they've done for the past 80 years. They came out with a legislative democracy approach, which defies constitutionality, but nobody's fighting anymore. So just to give you an idea, when Gavin Newsom took over power in California, because of he won the election, and Jerry Brown was, before that, was the governor, that 1 year when Jerry Brown left office, he signed over 800 laws. Now, if you have to sign 800 laws, new laws in a state in the 20th century, doesn't make any sense. And if you go and analyze every single law, you will see that every single one of them somehow defies, tapers, abridges, violates the Constitution. And you don't have that anymore. Like back in the 70s, every time a state would pass a law, the federal government, you had a team of lawyers looking at everything to see if there was any anti-constitutional issues there, and they would file briefs and so forth. They don't do that anymore, not as much as back then. So
Yeah.
The states have been left to themselves, and California has become one of the most anti-constitutional states in the union.
Well,
So
I mean, if we're really being, I mean, if we get down to brass tacks and we're being honest, the Constitution has been ignored for well over 150 years. So, I mean, it's much more of a suggestion these days.
But the final nail in a coffin, or one of the final nails in a coffin, was the Patriot Act of the Bush administration. That was the most, that basically took all the banking privileges and rights, banking rights of right to privacy, the right to your wealth, all those rights that were there to protect the citizen and protect their estate were completely removed. And unless you had an accountant or a lawyer that you would pay $300 an hour, you just would just give up and just file the taxes the way and be completely pillaged by the federal government and the state government. So having said all of that, I respect more the federal government than I do the state government, because you get the franchise tax board, which is the arm of California, equivalent to the IRS.
Mm-hmm.
The franchise tax board violates the Constitution in ways that are completely, really out of this world. They will do things that are obviously unconstitutional, and the IRS will not be as bad as the FTB. I always say if the IRS is a bunch of thieves, the FTB is the Gestapo. Like, I'm really afraid of the FTB. I'm not afraid of the IRS, but I'm afraid of the franchise tax. I fought the IRS many, many times, and there is room to wiggle there, and there is reasonability. But with the FTB, zero. There is no reasonability. They will freeze your account. They will give you no due process, not even a way to have due process. They just will say, talk to the hand. Are you doing this on? They say, we don't care, and they will do it. They will go as far as freeze your DMV account, meddle with your business license, even though there is nothing to do with taxation or at the FTB level. They will work with every agency to completely assault you and destroy you if they can. And they've done that to many Californians here. That's why many Californians will not fool around with the FTB because they are. I mean, really, the Gestapo, it's nicer than the FTB. I'm not kidding. The FTB.
Oh yeah,
is
I know.
really,
Yeah, well aware. I mean, well, California. That's just because California is the most communist state of all 50. So,
Do you
and
think it's more communist even than New York?
oh,
Because
absolutely.
okay,
Yeah. All right,
yeah,
let's get to the
because
next
New
video,
York,
guys. We are XRP.
New York with a
centric.
list. Sorry,
Crank up your
because
volume.
the
on your
attitude
end.
of New York.
Same oracle that made the prophecy? Yes. She's very old. She's been with us since the beginning.
Today, moving money between networks, you can't send money from PayPal to Venmo, cross-border international payments. The friction is high, the cost is high.
Donald Trump will usher in a new era of crypto-friendly policies and legislation during his first 100 days. What's that mean to you? What's that mean to you?
The stage is set for XRP to be the next success story, just like Facebook, just like Apple, just like all the big, tech giants out there, Amazon and so on. And if you can't see that, we bring you these videos, guys, so that you guys don't have to go looking for them. We basically spoon feed you the stuff so that after you get off this video, you call me at 786-704-8817. Say, Mel, I need to invest in XRP. You're right. I know that I'm right. But, the bottom line is you guys agreed that XRP is poised to take over the quantum financial system at this point. How far are we? Let's start with that question. Anybody?
I think XRP is definitely going to be the one that's going to take over for Swift. When that transpires, I do not know, but I mean, I think we're just, we're not far away from the proverbial flip of the switch.
Mm-hmm. There are definitely a lot of anomalies out there right now. What happened to August 1st? We were supposed to get some money. That never happened, but they say that supposedly that was supposed to happen. Where are we on that? Anybody have any news on that?
I so don't pay attention to dates anymore.
yeah, I'm with Ron on that. And as far as XRP, I mean, I think there's a lot of evidence at this point that even though we believe there's some kind of switch that's going to be flipped officially, I don't think there's any doubt that it's already being, in use in many ways, XRP. And I think it's just a matter of when the timing, whatever that is, that goes for, I know there's questions in the comments about, any news on the RV. I think there's news every day. There's been news for years, right? I mean, every day there's something, there's a new date, but I don't think anybody really knows except for those who know. And I know we don't speculate on dates because it's not wise and we don't really know, but it feels as if we're very close with a lot of this stuff. If you just look at the evidence out there and things that are happening.
Right. And don't call me to chit chat, even though I love chit chatting. Frank will tell you sometimes, and Frank and I have not that we have a lot of time, but when we do have time, we do get to some really long-winded conversations. But if you're interested in investing in XRP, this next video, I think, will drive it home that you should be positioned. Because look, at the end of the day, let's say you're 35 years old and you don't invest, and it happens in 3 years from now. How old are you going to be in 3 years from now? 38. How old are you going to be if you do invest? 38. So why not be positioned? It makes all the sense in the world. Let's go to the next one. Some of these videos are not loud, so crank up your volume on your end. Here we go.
That Dom Chu has today's ETF Edge as advertised. Hey, Dom. All right, so Scott, from adoption driven by Washington to a 10-year birthday coming later on this week, there's a lot going on in cryptocurrencies. Joining me now is Sal Gilberti, the president and CEO of Teucrium Trading. This is an interesting development. You're one of the firms out there that runs a slate of ETFs, but one of them is a levered fund tied to the value of a big cryptocurrency, and that's XRP. Just what can you tell us about how much investor interest there is in XRP and, of course, a levered instrument to it?
Well, thank you, Don. There's enormous interest in XRP. They call it the XRP Army, and I realize they call it that for a reason. We launched this fund. It'll be 16 weeks tomorrow, and the money that's come in is quite extraordinary. Hundreds of millions of dollars have come in. It is our most successful fund. We're 16 years old today when I incorporated the company, coincidentally, and we've never seen a response like that.
How did you make the turn? Because the slate of products you have are mainly agricultural based, and then you decide to venture out into cryptocurrency, specifically XRP. What was the thinking there?
Well, we had filed for Bitcoin before, and we do have crypto interests, and I'm an XRP enthusiast. And when I saw the opportunity to file and get it approved, and really not holding XRP itself, but holding the derivatives so that we could leverage it and give investors what they want. They clearly want some leverage. We got a great ticker, double XRP, XXRP, and it took off. It was a big hit immediately right out the door.
And if you could put on a forecasting hat as somebody who looks at the fund flows, looks at the industry, where do you think else in the crypto sphere is ripe for even more activity with regard to cryptocurrencies that's outside the realm of XRP, Ethereum, and of course, Bitcoin?
Honestly, I think picking the next coin is harder than people need to catch the wave of what crypto and the blockchain is doing to business. This really is the internet in the 1990s. I think there's a sea change coming, and picking the companies that are going to use whatever cryptocurrency comes next is going to be the big trick and the trick to big wealth.
Do you think that there is going to be an ETF boom in companies in that ecosystem?
No question.
All right. All right, Sal Gilberti, we're going to continue this conversation with Sal over at etfedge.cnbc.
I mean, how many anomalies do we need to show, Frank? How many anomalies do we need to show, Carol? How many anomalies do we need to show, Elisa, that, we are absolutely right. It's just a waiting game. Look, this little crash that happened was ridiculous as far as I'm concerned. This little crash was based on what my wife told me, and I tend to trust my wife. She said, Mel, the reason why the market crashed this past weekend was because China said for the 119th time that Bitcoin is illegal. It's illegal to own. It's illegal to mine. It's illegal to have a wallet with Bitcoin on it, etc. I mean, after 119 times, Ron, you would think that people out there would say, you know what? I don't trust you anymore. Fuck you. I'm going to continue to invest. I'm not selling, etc.
Well, I think the biggest and best example that people can take is to whatever they're telling you to do on television, to the opposite.
To the opposite. Yeah, 100%.
I mean, watch what people do, watch what they say, but more importantly, watch what they do, or listen to what they say, but watch what they do. And I think when you watch what they do and when their actions don't match up to the words, I think that's a significant sign.
No question about it.
I saw somebody talking about Bitcoin that said if you would have invested $100 for every time Bitcoin dipped, which was about 470 times, you would have now $130,000, something like that.
Oh,
so
I got one better. I got one better.
No, I know. So I did the math, and I said, well, that's nothing, because 470 times 100 is 47,000. If you would have bought $47,000 worth of XRP at 50 cents, right now you would have $282,000. So XRP is a much better position investment than Bitcoin, because Bitcoin by this time, unless you bought it at 11 cents or 14 cents, and right now you would find yourself with 20,000 of Bitcoin at 11 cents would be today $5.2 billion, right? But who the hell had the foresight back then? But right now that foresight can be applied 100% to XRP, because XRP, it is, all the technicals, the fundamentals, even the Ripple organization says it very clearly. adaptation is going to be coming, and all the major banks from Japan to to the European bank are now using they making plans and inserting XRP in their financial network system, and they're going to go live. I know Europe is probably going to go live the first quarter of 2026, but I think to answer your question, Mal, really quickly, Friday, the job market was supposed to, the report was going to come out. Unfortunately, somebody lied again, and they just fired the same person that was giving misreports, and the stock market went down, dipped. And because of that dip, I think took away the energy from the upward movements of Bitcoin, XRP, and all of the currencies, because everything dipped on Friday because of that reason. So I think the next job reports and the next forecast is going to be a lot better, because they took one of the Biden's appointees that were at the statistical place out of that job. So that's a good thing. But,
absolutely. All right, let's get to our next video so we can move right along, as I want to. There's so many great videos. This show could probably be like 2.5 hours long, but we won't do that to the audience. So let's go.
$140 trillion market is coming to the XRP ledger, and it will create wealth on a scale most investors can't even comprehend. The tokenization of treasury bills and government bonds on the XRP ledger is already beginning. Open Eden just announced they're bringing tokenized U.S. treasury bills to XRPL, opening the floodgates to a $57 trillion U.S. market and $140 trillion globally. This represents real value moving onto blockchain, actual government-backed securities that institutions and banks use every single day, now being tokenized on XRP's network. The implications are staggering. When treasury bills migrate to blockchain, they bring genuine liquidity, utility, and massive transactional volume. XRP becomes essential infrastructure for this new tokenized economy. The multiplier effect will be extraordinary. Even capturing just 10% of the global bond market creates exponential price impacts due to XRP's limited supply meeting institutional scale demand. This process has already started. Financial institutions are building the infrastructure now, laying the groundwork for the greatest transfer in history as traditional finance moves onto blockchain rails. While most
I mean, we got the gist of it there. I mean, look, everything is going to be tokenized. You're going to be able to own a piece of a Picasso, a piece of the Empire State Building, a piece of whatever is going to get tokenized. And I believe to some extent, even a lot of the stocks are moving on the blockchain. Am I correct, Ron, when I say that?
I think yes, I believe so. I think everything is going to be tokenized and be put onto a blockchain. I think blockchain is going to be the premier mechanism utilized going forward. And you got to realize that the last time that we had a new financial instrument was the stock, and that was on the 1600s,
right?
So the fact that we have a brand new financial instrument here, and people have the ability to invest in the rails of this financial system right now, and they're not doing it because, oh, well, I don't like it because I can't hold it in my hand. Well, you can't hold your money in your hand if it's in the bank. You're still paying with digital money there. I mean, the vast majority of people pay with digital money now. They just don't see it that way.
Absolutely. You want to chime in,
think
Carol?
about it.
Hey, you guys are doing a great job. It's not my forte, but
I was just going to say, think about it. Most people, especially younger generations, right? Like when we were younger, we got paid with a check, right? We would cash it. We would have cash. Maybe we deposit some of it in our bank accounts. But today, most of these kids are getting paid digitally, right? It's going right into their bank account. They don't even know what a check is, for that matter. They use their cards to pay for everything. They're not even we're in such a cashless society that people don't even realize that when they say they don't want to go digital, they already are.
Yeah, we've been digital for a long time, since the 80s. If you use a debit card or credit card, you never get to touch your cash.
That's right.
Bottom line. Right? Yeah. So let's go ahead and play this one here.
It's a very exciting event. We're going to have a sovereign wealth fund, which we've never had. We have a lot of things that create wealth, and you've seen that over the last 2 weeks. I think we've created more wealth. Other people have created de-wealth, the people, my predecessors. We're creating a lot of wealth. We're going to stand this thing up within the next 12 months. We're going to monetize the asset side of the U.S. balance sheet for the American people. We're going to put the assets to work. And I think it's going to be very exciting.
Okay, more good news and more proof that we're moving into a technologically advanced world where the people hold the power. Let me break it down to you and also follow me, because as this shift keeps growing, there's going to be a lot of confusion, a lot of vagueness. But if you know Web3 and the new technology that's coming, you can see exactly what Trump's doing. Trump is setting the foundation for an AI-driven, fast, technologically advanced, all over, moving very fast without sketchy middlemen in the way, with the people in power and the people holding a lot of wealth. In the video where Trump says he's going to create a sovereign wealth fund, a man says that we're going to monetize assets for the American people. What did you say that meant?
The U.S. government will take national assets like technology, AI, and resources and turn them into revenue-generating investments. Instead of private corporations or foreign investors controlling profits, the wealth generated from these assets will be redirected back into the country. It's a shift toward decentralizing economic power. Rather than relying on banks or taxes, they are using real national assets to fund America. This could mean new financial systems where Americans benefit directly from the country's wealth. Why this is a big deal. This is not how the U.S. has traditionally operated. It could reduce dependence on debt, banks, and foreign investors. It's part of a larger move toward an AI-driven, tech-powered financial system. Whether they admit it or not, this is a step toward decentralization. They're building a new financial system in real time.
And wouldn't you believe that TikTok may be one of the firsts in this sovereign wealth fund that he's talking about?
And as an example, TikTok, we're going to be doing something perhaps with TikTok, and perhaps not. If we make the right deal, we'll do it. Otherwise, we won't. But I have the right to do that. And we might put that in the sovereign wealth fund, whatever we make, or if we do a partnership with very wealthy people, a lot of options.
So to keep it simple, the way that we fund our country is through taxes. But our country is able to make deals with businesses. And so if we're taking in money from businesses like TikTok, hey, we want to do a deal with you, TikTok. You need us and we need you, is what Trump is saying to TikTok. So why don't you give us 50% ownership so that we can have some of the revenue, so that we can bring it into our country? And what's Trump going to do with the revenue? Create better, faster, more efficient systems, AI, technological driven systems that completely bypass sketchy politicians. Believe it or not, Trump's not a politician. He's a businessman, and he likes solving problems and making things fast and efficient. He doesn't like BS, and our country's full of BS, slow moving, and a lot of money flowing just out the window. But with a new technologically advanced upgraded AI system that they're creating called Stargate, we could possibly have a government system that actually works for the people, and not only works for the people and gives wealth back to our country, but actually gives power back to the people. One thing you do have to admit, whether you think Trump is one of these guys or not, is that there are good people in the world who want to see a better world for the people. They're fighting to create better systems and return power to the people. He said several times, I'm returning power back to you. And he also said every day is going to be like Christmas. And so far, this year's turning out that way. Also, good people of the world see the brilliance of AI, because AI is a logical system, not a human being who wants to stuff their pockets with money and susceptible to corruption. With AI underneath our government can be so fast and efficient. Medical advancements are also coming. This is just the beginning of everything, of a new technologically advanced government and a new technologically advanced world where the people are abundant, free, and empowered.
How powerful is that video? Seriously.
I agree with that
video.
I agree with that. I think the people who are terrified of AI are the people who are terrified of climate change. You know, I mean, you know what are there inherent risks with AI? Absolutely. I'm not going to sit here and just, you know, blow smoke up somebody's ass and say no. There's no risks. But every single time a new technology has come out, everybody's like, oh well, it's oh my gosh, it's going to be the destruction of us all, and it never is. Just like they've been saying, oh well, we only got 10 years left. They've been saying we had 10 years left. Hell, Netanyahu's been saying there's only 2 to 3 years left before Iran has a nuclear weapon. He's been saying that since 1991.
Yeah.
Yeah, Trump said this. Trump
he's
said
the
this
person that
morning.
absolutely knows nothing about artificial intelligence. All AI is garbage in, garbage out. I guarantee you that person could hold a conversation of about 12 seconds on artificial intelligence, and then they're going to walk away from you because they're complete fools. I'm going to expose all you chicken brains out there. I'm telling you. You come
Dude,
on the channel, I'm going to expose you.
I would tell you that the most intelligent conversations that I've had in the past, recent past, are all with AI.
Yeah.
I mean, and it's just because I know what to poke and prod and how to ask thoughtful, detailed questions. And then when it gives me an answer and I'm like, that doesn't sound right. And I'll push back and I'll be like, I don't think that's right. And I'll cite why. And they'll be like, oh yeah, you're right about this. Yeah. This is bullshit. Yeah. So it's like, I mean, you have to, the thing is that if you're not, a lot of people are worried about AI with the thought that it's going to take away their jobs. Well, okay. I mean, it's total side note. I remember when I was a kid, I went to the police station on a field trip from school, and the police officer said, "Oh, well, if you want to be a police officer, then the one thing you really need to be really good at is English." And I'm like, English? And he's like, yeah, well, I mean, some of you are thinking, why English? This is because you write a lot of reports. And when you write a lot of reports, you have to be good at writing. Yeah. So I'm like, oh, okay. Well, it's the same thing that kind of holds true with AI. In order for you to be really good at AI, you have to know how to prompt. You have to know how to ask it to do things. You can't just say, give me a picture of a rainbow, okay, and then have it just print out this beautiful picture. It's not creative. It doesn't do the creativity for you. It will respond to the directions that you give it, but you need to be able to articulate what you want from it. And if you can't, the results that you're going to get are dog shit.
Totally.
Yeah, I know Carol had something to say.
Yeah, Carol. Yeah. Sorry for rudely interrupting you, but
I
had my train of thought out. I hate chicken wings. I'm allergic.
I was going to say that Trump did a little bit of a press thing getting onto his black helicopter this morning, and he said it many times, but he said it again that United States will lead AI in the right direction, and they're going to lead the world into AI. And here again, it's a tool. It's same as a hammer. Whoever is using it, and we have to train it, and you can train it to a level of 5D also. On the spiritual end of things, we should all be feeding the information so the right information does get out there. And I always tell Grok, I want the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth.
Which is your favorite AI?
Well, I've been using Grok, so I mean, I don't have the other ones, but I haven't used it very much. I just told them, hey, here's my website. Write me 2 paragraphs to sell my retreat center to other facilitators. And it came up with a beautiful write-up. And I said, I couldn't do better.
So. And the thing is, like you said, Carol, and Ron, you said it too. Like I use it. I just use ChatGPT, occasionally, but I use it in a way at this point to assist me. I don't use it to do the work for me. I know what I want to say. I know what the intelligence of something is, but maybe I want to say it a little better. I want to save some time to, sitting there editing. But obviously there's so many other things you can do in terms, like you said, the truth and finding stuff. We have to remember too, I think a lot of people that are afraid of AI and robots and all this kind of stuff also don't completely understand the financial world that we're going into. And so there's going to be a point where we are going to be living in a different way, in a more creative way. We're going to be creators. We're going to want those robots and those machines to perform the duties that, yes, may take away jobs from certain people. But as we start to have a different, more wealthy, a sense of not working so hard for our money, and there's more wealth out there, we're not going to want to do those jobs. We're going to be doing other things. So people get afraid, like it's going to take away their job, and assuming that then they'll be poverty stricken, when we know with the transfer of wealth, it's going to mean a lot of prosperity for everyone.
Well, what you're doing is you're actually opening up new markets. Like, let's just say, for example, okay, the horse and buggy. All right. Well, everybody who stuck around with a horse and buggy and said, "Oh, the automobile industry is a bunch of garbage." Well, what are they doing now? You know, I mean, obviously that's 150 years old or 120 years old, whatever. But the point being is that the automobile industry destroyed the horse and buggy, and you know, I mean, there's been multiple industries that have come about that have destroyed other industries, but with the destruction of one particular industry, or maybe should I say a better word would be the replacement of, what you're seeing is that the replacing industry has much more availability for ingenuity, and just going in and tweaking things out and opportunities to make even more money. And people have to discontinue looking at the world as half empty, looking at the world with the glass half empty mentality, and look at it from, there's opportunities out there. There's more opportunities out there right now with AI than there have ever been in the history of the world. And I heard this said not too long ago. It said in 1995, if you didn't know the internet, it didn't cost you a thing. But in 2025, if you don't know AI, it could cost you everything.
Yeah.
That's very true. All right, let's get on to the next video. And I got to get my cursor up there. There we go.
Whoa, 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 whoa. Look at this. How come nobody's talking about this? Why not? This is huge. Can you imagine if this happens? New legislation proposes to take Wall Street out of the housing market. You know what that means? They're talking about hedge funds. Yeah, they're talking about hedge funds not being able to own single family homes. Yeah, if this bill actually goes through, you know what it means? It means that over the next 10 years, all these big hedge funds have to get rid of all their single family houses. That's right, the hedge funds have to let them go over the next 10 years and can't own them anymore. What do you think that would do for real estate prices? What do you think that would do for people looking to buy a home? That could change the entire landscape. Let's see if this goes through. I'm going to be following this really close. Remember to like and follow, because this is potentially huge legislation.
That's massive. How huge would that be, guys? The impact of real estate will never be the same, providing that bill does pass.
Yeah, I agree.
You know, it's funny. I was just watching The Big Short over the weekend. I love that movie. I've seen it like a few times. They talk about the housing bubble and, you know, everything that happened in 2008. And so we know that, you know, so much of that was tied to Wall Street and the big banks and, you know, what they did to manipulate. So it's pretty unbelievable that is going on and that's out there and nobody's really talking about it. That guy was right.
Absolutely. I agree. Big Short, great flick. Another really good movie that people should watch if they want to understand the global financial crisis is Margin Call.
That was excellent. Yeah.
Margin Call?
Yes.
Margin Call.
I think it was Jeremy Irons and
Zachary Quinto, Stanley Tucci, Simon Baker,
yes.
Demi Moore, who's the British guy? Whatever. Lot of really Bellamy, Paul Bellamy, and then I think the only one I'm missing here is Kevin Spacey.
Yes, that's right.
Here we go. This is a real short one, 29 seconds.
Americans are unaware that behind the scenes, the technical backbone of the financial system is decades out of date, many, many years out of date. You know that. Paul and others are straightening it out, but payments and money transfers are costly and take days or even weeks to clear. Under this bill, the entire ancient system will be eligible for a 21st century upgrade using the state-of-the-art crypto technology. Who would have thought we would have been saying that?
I mean, what is he talking about there? I think it's shit. I think it's XRP. It's not Bitcoin because Bitcoin doesn't move shit. It's too slow.
Yeah, I agree. Let me ask you a question. Do you think Bitcoin is going to survive?
I think it's going to survive up until about maybe the $200,000 mark because they need to hype up the market because I think, look, this is my logic, and I think you'll agree with it. Donald Trump, for him to buy Bitcoin, it costs him nothing. Why? Because they're printing money out of thin air that costs nothing, that's backed by nothing, that's worth nothing, and they're buying an asset class even though it's an electronic Ponzi scheme. I think he's trying to sucker in all of the big, cabal people and big rich people to pump it up to $200,000, maybe $250,000. Look, if you look at Michael Saylor's strategies back in the .com era, this guy was a complete catastrophe. And he's going to do it again because history does repeat itself with the Bitcoin and Ethereum and whatever else he's into. But I think the writing on the wall is that XRP is the one that you need to pay attention to. The fact that the price, took a dip this particular weekend, it's got nothing to do with anything because we're not at the end of the race. You understand? When we get to the end of the race, then we worry about the price. Right now, we're not there yet, right? So even Bitcoin, for example, took a dip because obviously the Chinese took a direct attack on it. But you think Bitcoin is going to go past $200,000 or $250,000?
Why? I thought my understanding was that China came out not too long ago and approved Bitcoin. What, did they change their mind midstream?
Again, yeah, 199 times.
Yeah, well, wait until they do it again.
Yeah, probably. And so, I think it's a game. At the end of the day, look at how many countries are buying now a basket of cryptocurrencies very quietly. They're taking fiat currency that's worth nothing, that's backed up by nothing. It's never going to do nothing. It's got no utility. Okay, it's just paper, monopoly money, and they're buying XRP, they're buying XLM, they're buying XDC, they're buying a lot of the ISO tokens very quietly. This is happening behind the scenes. And they're doing it with something that costs nothing. So if they buy a bunch of Bitcoins that cost nothing and then it goes to nothing, they don't give a shit because they bought it with nothing. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm. Well, my biggest issue with Bitcoin is its close connections with Tether, because I feel like Tether is the ticking time bomb of the crypto market that a lot of people are just ignoring.
Mm-hmm.
Because I don't believe that Tether has the requisite reserves on hand to. I think Tether is the Federal Reserve to the crypto market.
Yeah, I totally agree.
Like they artificially inject fiat within the crypto and make everything look like it's more valuable than it truly is. But
Right.
if Tether goes away, or if they do some sort of an audit on Tether and it's found out that Tether doesn't have all the money that they have, then what's going to happen is you're going to see either a drastic increase in the price of certain things because Tether is now gone, or you're going to see a drastic drop in the price because Tether has been proven to be a scam. So I don't know how it's going to play out. But the two projects that I look at with the most suspicion are Bitcoin and Ethereum. And I think that's just because they were the first ones, and I think we were lied to about how they got out into the world. The thing that gives me pause about Bitcoin, another thing is that okay, so everybody says that it's this Satoshi Nakamoto guy. Okay, well, who's Satoshi Nakamoto? We don't know who that is, and financial institutions are not going to put all of their money into into something that doesn't have a known entity or business structure behind it. And
Totally.
Bitcoin is the only one that falls into that category within the crypto sphere.
Yeah, but at the end of the day, the store of value story is bullshit because you need gold to make these computers run. You need silver to make these phones run. You need gold and silver to make the televisions run. You need gold and silver has utility. Bitcoin store of value, the gold story. Can you put that gold into an electronic? Can you make an electronic work with Bitcoin? The answer is no. Right? And that's where my argument is. Really, if everybody decided to sell their Bitcoin right now, the second it goes to zero. Now, if everybody decided to go and sell their XRP, yeah, XRP might be 0.00002 of a penny, but it won't go to zero because it's got intrinsic value. It solves problems. You can't say Bitcoin. You really can't. But what would the show be, guys, without a good video on flat Earth? Right?
Oh, good.
Right? This is the smoking gun. I'm like, after I saw this video, I'm like 98.99888% sure that we are flat. Okay. And I think you'll think the same. I think it's a smoking gun. And I know my co-producer, when are you going to show the documentary trailer and the other video? And I will do that before we go. But anyway,
I am just for the record, I'm a global person. I am not a flat Earth person.
Okay.
Well, I'm Taurus. It's a toroidal. I believe it's a toroidal, same as we are. Energy field.
Okay, I will go to you first, Ron, because you think it's round, right? Is that what you think?
Yeah, I do.
Okay, let's watch this video because I would like to really definitely have your take on it afterwards.
We want to go from New Zealand to Argentina, which is right about here. And it's a direct path. Can definitely make it in one shot. So let's see what Google Flights has to say. Auckland to Argentina. Just making up a date here. Explore. Okay, now we're going to select Buenos Aires. Let's go ahead and select the first flight. Here are our options. Okay, so on United, we have Auckland going to San Francisco, San Francisco to Houston, Houston finally into Buenos Aires. But why? That seems like a waste of gas to go from Auckland all the way to San Francisco, over to Texas, and then all the way down to Argentina. Okay, now hear me out. Let's see what the flat Earth model depicts. You just have to see this for yourself. Look at this. So this is New Zealand. Aha, San Francisco, Houston, down to Argentina.
Shot with a flat
You
Earth
would
model.
not be able to make it on one tank of gas. Makes sense now.
Hello. I mean, that is a little hard to argue with.
We want to go.
You got to admit that.
I saw that video, something similar to that, Mel. The first time I saw, like over 10 years ago. Different guy, different. I mean, the amount of information is but after ingesting, digesting hours and hours of research, my position on the flat Earth is as follows, and that is, show me, meaning show me, because that means that all the companies, like for example, SpaceX, everybody that works at NASA, everybody that's worked in the know, they either have to lie, and I did catch some people in a lie. So the closest thing that the truth came out was when that gentleman, what's his name, Tyson, what's his name, is always on TV, is an astrophysicist.
Really smart black kid.
Yeah, no, he's not a kid. Is actually in charge of the Astrophysics Museum in Washington D.C. and is always on Dr. Phil or on different show. Is a Joe Rogan.
Joe Rogan.
Anyway, so what he said when somebody confronted him, because he was saying it's a globe, and I want to see a true picture, because the pictures that we see from NASA, they are not real pictures. They're all composites out of Photoshop. Every single one of them. They say that. I don't say that. NASA says that. NASA says that what they do is they take the metrics readings, and the metrics reading is all like functions and grids, and then they take the grid and they put on top of it, they put basically artwork to make it look like a globe. Now, when you see all of these globes over the past 20, 30 years that NASA has produced, the JPEGs, their own images, not my images, their images, they don't match. When you do the measurements, Africa is sometimes smaller than the previous one, sometimes is bigger than the previous one that they produced.
Right.
So when I asked them, I'm sorry?
Somebody's bullshitting somebody.
Yeah. So when my question to them would be, you are in a shuttle, let's say we still have a space shuttle, and you are there, take a photo, a regular photo, and show everybody. Because what Tyson said, well, it's not a globe, it's oblate, it looks more like a pear. Okay, show me the pear. I want to see the pear. But to this date, they never released an authentic, raw image of the Earth shot from outer space. Never. Everything you see is all Photoshop composites. So if it's a Photoshop composite, why can't you show me the raw data? Show me the raw data. I'm okay with it. And then so for example, when you see the guy from Red Bull that went up into the stratosphere and then he jumped, he was using a GoPro camera. The GoPro camera puts a fish lens which shows a curvature. That's not standard. Then somebody else did another experiment. And what he did is he sent a rocket, a homemade rocket with a camera, not using GoPro, and it was a flat surface that he showed, but he did not show the whole, because Earth is large, it's pretty big. So he was not able, when he went to 74 miles, to take a photo of the entire Earth. But whatever it was taken, it was flat. It was not curved. Now, in addition to that, NASA documents that have come out, these are official physicist documents, rules of how to test flight new aircrafts that were made for test flights before they go into production. The instructions, they say in black and white, and this is not me saying it, this is the document that says it from NASA, and it says if the instructions, the engineering instruction to the flight crew and to the people in the know that were to test the aircraft, it was saying in plain English, you are surveilling a flat body, and that's inside, and where all the formulas, the mathematical formulas, the speed, the velocity, but in black and white it was written. So unless you put a suit on me, put me in a craft, launch me up there way above the Earth where I can see the Earth, and for myself, I still don't know. So I cannot say either way, one thing or the other. But the suspicion is this: there are over 200 elements that prove that the Earth is not a globe. Over 200. And I can take that list, and they're very compelling. They're very compelling.
Here's the thing, Frank. This is exactly why people like you and I are not allowed to own a flying machine that could go up at 120,000 feet. And because we would come back and tell the world that, hey, we got the pictures, we got the proof, it's flat.
120 miles, not feet.
120,000 feet, whatever. 150,000, however high you could go up before you hit the dome. If there was
I
a
would
dome,
go 250 miles. I would go 250 miles above.
There you go.
Above the
there you
Earth.
go.
But even some people will say it's not possible, because even SpaceX, when they sent the satellites, if you look, we are in California. I'm pretty sure Ron have seen a lot of these when they send them from Vandenberg Base. You can see SpaceX launch when they put the the satellites up, and you can see there's a curvature, and then it just goes into orbit, and that orbit is the same, just a little bit higher than the space station. It's not that far. I think it's about 80 miles. 80 miles. And if you want to go to the moon, you gotta also go through the Van Allen belt, which back then they said you cannot go through the Van Allen belt because the radiation would kill you going through it. But somehow they went through it in 1960, in 1969 and 70 and 71 and 72. They had all of those Apollo missions. I'm confused because when I look at the engineering data, I understand it. And then when I look at some of the questions, like the first mission on the moon, you can see the rocket leaving the moon and going. And who's taking the photo? Who's taking the video of the thing going? Did it? I mean,
well, can I address that?
Who's doing that?
Can I address that?
Because it's actually moving. It's moving like somebody is holding it. Somebody's holding the camera.
They are.
So they left somebody.
They are.
Yeah, but
Okay.
somebody's
So my understanding is that what they did was they took at Cannon Air Force Base is where they filmed the moon landing footage that ultimately got put on television. They had that before they actually went up, and they were going to. It was a propaganda thing where even if the astronauts didn't survive the trip up there, they were going to project out, or they were going to tell the world that they did, and then they were going to show that footage and to make everybody believe that they did it, and then they were going to say that they were lost on the return trip. So the footage that you're looking at in terms of what the LEM, coming the capsule that's on the moon that's has to go back up and connect with the LEM. You're looking at the you're looking at footage that was shot at Cannon Air Force Base.
Right, but they deceived us because they will not admit it. They will not admit it. They say that's the original footage of the moon. They will not admit it. That's the issue. But then there is another issue on top of that issue, and that is that if they are not going to be if they're not going to be with us sincere, and another thing that happened that was really a big deal is that they lost over 20,000 telemetric tapes of data that was originally gotten from the moon on those missions. And they announced that actually in 2017 because people were probing. They went to NASA and they said, we want to gather copies of the telemetric data that you gather on the moon. And the NASA people said, I'm sorry, we lost it. That was the answer. We lost it. How the hell can you lose 20,000 tapes? We're talking about the big tapes, right? The reels that you put in the computers, those big computers, they're completely outdated, but probably NASA has still a few in order to read that data that they collect, or they had to convert it. They did not even say they were converted to digital. They didn't say any of that. They just said, we lost it. I mean, it's one event after the other, one event after the other. And then to know that every single astronaut, bar none, every single one of them is a Freemason. Every single one of them is a Mason. There's not one astronaut that is not a Mason. And then you see all of these the space station videos, raw footage. I mean, this is that you get from the feed. And you see a lot of inconsistencies, like somebody dropped a cup and the cup fell to the floor while they were like showing all of the gravitational free play. And then you have the women with the hair, and you have the women, the hair, they like this, and you can see they held with some sort of a spray because it's insane. I mean, I have to be a complete moron to believe that. I'm not a genius engineer, but I am an engineer. I took mathematics, biology, engineering. I mean, I follow the scientific method. I'm not a cuckoo completely out of my mind. I have to be grounded in reality. And when I see these inconsistencies, I'm like, okay, I understand if you make an inconsistency, Ron. I understand if Elisa does that, or if Carol, or if Mel. But when you have a team of scientists get with a budget of billions of dollars and you see those inconsistencies, you say something is weird here. And then you see somebody from NASA, JPL, actually saying, we cannot go to the moon because the Van Allen belt is too dangerous to cross. And that was an announcement they made in 2022. And then you go, how the hell did we go to the moon then? And we passed the Van Allen belt, and we still have one of the guys, Buzz Aldrin, which, by the way,
Short answer is we probably didn't.
You have somebody like Buzz Aldrin that is in perfect shape and is in late 80s, early 90s, and he went through the Van Allen belt. I mean, somebody's bullshitting here. Somebody is. I am not saying because of all of this that the earth is flat. What I am saying is somebody is bullshitting me. I don't care what the shape of the earth is. I don't care if it's straight, flat, round, a cubicle. I don't care what it is. Show me and give me the truth. What I do know is maybe I don't know if it's flat. Maybe I don't know if it's a globe. But I know one thing. Somebody's bullshitting. 100%.
I couldn't agree with you more, Frank, because I don't know either. And like you said, unless we have real photos, there's a lot of theories that I'm sure people believe this or they believe that. But if we look at the evidence that we've been lied to just about everything, and if they're teaching stuff in school, more than likely they're trying to lie to us even more. So it's like we said before, if you're watching it on the news, it's probably the opposite of what they're saying. So again, I don't know, one way or another. I'm not a scientist, but what I do
but
know,
also there's a lot of symbolism, Elisa. There's a lot of symbolism.
And what about the founding of NASA? We know where that came from.
Of the sun, if you look at this distance of the sun from Earth, the measurements and the sun and the distance of the Earth, the moon from the Earth, it's all like weird numbers that are that symbolize something. But one thing is this: the 93 million miles away is the sun, but somehow the moon is so perfect that is exactly 400 times smaller than the sun. So you can have an eclipse and it can completely, perfectly overlap the sun because it's exactly 400 times smaller. And it's 93 million miles away. And then we are moving 465 million miles per minute right now. The whole galaxy, the whole sun system, the solar system is moving at 406, while the Earth is spinning at the equator at 1,000 miles per hour. I mean, come on, guys. I mean, I need more proof.
It sounds like someone's fluffing our balls. I know what that feels like. And I can tell you, someone's fluffing my fucking balls right now.
Look, man, if I tell you something right now, I tell you, I was born with a congenital defect, and my heart has got 3 valves. Not 2, it's got 3 valves. What are you going to say? You're going to say, I believe you, Frank. But you don't know. I can be bullshitting you unless you open me up or unless you do an MRI and you look in my heart. You're going to take me at my word, but you will never know. So we have fate every day. If I go to the cafeteria right now at random of a hospital to eat something, nobody guarantees me whatever I eat doesn't have any contaminants or bacteria or viruses inside or some sort of poison. I have to trust. When I go to Burger King or In-N-Out and buy a burger, I have to trust that burger is made in a way that no poison is. I have to have faith. But then when it comes to government and science, we grow up and we are indoctrinated to the point that we are not going to question any of this, because the moment you question, and that's the thing, we are brainwashed too, because I would never question the government. I would say, no, the government works for me. They have my best interest, and they cannot lie to me. Why would they do that? It's crazy. To lie to me would be to bite the hand that feeds you.
And why did all those scientists come over, and they ended up in NASA during Operation Paperclip? Like, you have to wonder, what is that organization all about anyway? So before you start saying, what they tell us is true.
And Van Buren was a Nazi, 100%. I mean, there's proof he was a Nazi. So we hired a Nazi, and he was
a Nazi because he had to be a Nazi.
Yeah, but you can. I know you can manipulate that in any which way you want. It's like in 10 years from now, I was a nurse that was giving the
No,
jabs, and then 10 years
I
from
know
now,
two.
somebody comes to me and
I've got
says, Frank,
I've got
you
two
were not a
individuals
good
in my
person.
life. I've got two individuals in my life who both know Carol Rosin, who was his protege, and you know, they're both very good friends. They independent of each other, and they both and you know, he told her so many things, and he's, you know, she's extraordinarily reluctant to come on air, but you know, she tells many things that what happened. You know, I mean, everybody likes to point to Operation Paperclip as though it was this just nefarious thing. Oh well, we should have just killed everybody that was from Germany. Well, I mean, we did
No,
a
I
lot.
didn't say
No, I
that.
didn't
I'm
say
not
you.
saying that.
I
No,
didn't
I'm
say you.
saying, but what I'm saying is we never won that war. So we pretty much know that. We won against Germany. We did not win against the Nazis. So we know that a lot of the nefarious things that were being done.
That war wasn't. Okay, so World War
So
II
why were
wasn't
they
thought to
here
be
in our
won.
country? You're going to say because they were so brilliant? What was the underlying agenda that they had? And all I'm saying is of NASA being formed, of all these things. You're telling me that in a sense we're saying that a lot of what the government does, a lot of what the government did, we can't trust. We can't trust the media. We can't trust this. We can't trust. But then we're supposed to trust NASA. So
NASA was formed at the same exact time that the Treaty of Antarctica was the same exact, because they have something in common. Space exploration and Antarctica have something in common. And I can mention just, there is one place on Earth where all the nations, China, Russia, United States of America, and all the other major nations get along perfectly, regardless of tariffs, regardless of Islam, regardless of religious beliefs. And that happens in Antarctica. Why? Antarctica is the only place where everybody's respecting each other. And there's something there. And I would dare say that if you go over the wall of Antarctica and you venture and you study Byrd, Admiral Byrd, and what Admiral Byrd has done pre-World War II and post-World War II of his exploration with Antarctica, there is a clear connection between whatever is inside Antarctica dimensionally and the entrance of dimensions through the different planets. It is my belief. I have a belief, scientific belief, that when you go to another planet and you travel so many miles, you have to enter a different dimensionality, a different dimension of space. So when I go to Mars, I'm in a different dimension. We might be able to talk directly with a phone in real time, but I'm in a different dimension, literally a different dimension. It is defined by physics. But I think you can also get to Mars if you go through Antarctica.
Okay,
I
so
think you're probably talking about Stargate.
Fly over the wall. Wait. If you fly over the wall, and then there's a way to get to space, but us, because we're a bunch of morons, there's a dome over us, and we can't go any further than the Antarctic wall, and we can't go beyond, because I know when they launch the missile, it doesn't go straight up; it goes like this, and then it curves back down. Okay, and I listen. That's right here in my backyard, so I know what I'm talking about. Same thing with the logo on Disney. It's got the logo with the little thing, the dome, and same thing with the rainbows. The rainbows go like this as well. The rainbows don't go straight up. You ever see a rainbow go straight up? Never. So there's something.
There's about 30 videos, Mel, right now of professional airline pilots that have retired or they quit, and they are on video, and they say the Earth is flat. That's what they say. These are professional pilots, airline pilots.
I just
and I don't even believe. And by the way, I don't even believe them. I don't believe them. I have the counter argument, because every time I have their argument, people yell at me and they go, "Oh, you got to prove it."
I just had
and I go the opposite. I go, "You prove to me what's up, what's here, looking from up there." That's all I want to know. I want proof. I'm not going to declare and make a statement and say the Earth is flat, or is a cylinder, or is a globe, or is made of cheese, or whatever. I don't care. Just show me
But I'm
what
saying
it
if
is.
you're in a cylindrical
guys,
tube,
guys,
if you're in a
guys,
cylindrical
guys,
tube,
guys, guys,
yeah.
guys. I listen. I had a hard cut off 20 minutes ago, and I thought I was going to get a chance to speak, but I haven't. So
Go.
I
I'll give you the last word.
I need to get out of here. And I'll just say my piece. I'm not a flat earther. I've got a good friend who flew 777s for American Airlines and flew significantly in the southern hemisphere, and he will go on his dying deathbed saying that the earth is globe. So so anyway, that's all I got to say on that. And I'm not gonna kill the stream, because any of my people who are in here watching it, they will they'll get to watch it, but I have to depart myself. So I will I'll see you guys maybe next week, but yeah, everybody have a great day.
You too,
Appreciate
bye.
it. Thank you, bro. Yeah,
Thank
so
you, Ron.
the bottom line is I just got back from Dallas, and I told the pilots, I said, look, I'm paying attention to that, tubular thing that's going through the sky. If they were adjusting every little bit for the curvature of the earth, I would know, I would feel it. I could see the pitch of the plane just by, especially if you're sitting back in row 34, okay, you could see that plane pitching. Sometimes you could tell that they're getting ready to, get ready for landing without even telling you. They're already starting to descend, and then they tell you 20 minutes later that they've been descending. So if I could see that, see if they're adjusting for the curvature of the earth. As I'm walking out of the airplane, I looked at both pilots who are facing out into the area where all the chairs are in the airplane. They're in the doorway of the cockpit. I said, not once. I said, and don't deny it. I said, not once did you ever adjust for the curvature of the earth. So I said, we're flat, right? And I walked away, and they both laughed. Okay?
You just don't know if they were laughing at you or with you.
If I remember correctly, I don't. The formula for the adjustment is 8 inches per 8 miles.
Mm-hmm.
Or it's something like that. I gotta take the formula. For every mile, there's an adjustment, but it's not just pilots; it's also architects and engineers. And they never, when they do CAD drawings of big buildings, large, they said they never have to adjust for it. So if they never were to adjust for it, then something is wrong. Right. But it's not just that. I'm not gonna go out on a limb and even say that, because I know the argument, the counter argument, right? If you make a statement, you say the earth is flat, you're gonna raise so many, because we have 500 years of history from Copernicus until now. So we're talking about a lot of time of brainwashing, if there was any brainwashing. We're talking about, half a millennia of brainwashing. The thing is that I'm not even that demanding. What I'm asking is, now that we have the technology, which we only had the technology for the past 150 years, just show me. That's all I want to know. Just show me. And nobody can show me.
Sure.
So
let's show the documentary trailer for now, guys, because the documentary is coming out amazingly well. I believe with a little bit of good luck, Frank, you'll be invited. Elisa, you might get invited, depending on how critical you are. And Carol's definitely getting invited. And we're going to have that private screening here, probably Thursday or Friday. So let's watch the trailer. It's coming out together really, really well. I'm pleased with the results, and I think this will be the fourth cut. Because there was a lot of tweaks in the third cut, so I didn't bother doing a screening. This will be the fourth cut. By the time we do a fifth cut, we're ready for prime time. So here we go.
Dear Mr. President.
Dear Mr. President.
Dear Mr. President. Dear Mr. President.
Dear Mr. President. Dear Mr. President. When did freedom of speech become a crime? In the land of the free, voices are vanishing, opinions are policed, truth is under fire. They say it's about safety, I say it's about silence. Who's watching the watchman? Who's filtering your feed? Who benefits from your silence? From the classroom to the newsroom, from Silicon Valley to Washington, D.C. Who decides what you can say?
Censorship. 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 The censorship.
Censorship. It's a much bigger threat to democracy than anything that we've seen in this country in the last 4 years, in the last 40 years.
Our First Amendment is under assault, not just by big tech, but by government agencies. Voices are being silenced.
A world without censorship would mean we can freely expose the elections and, of course, child trafficking. I believe the American spirit would kick in if they had access to the real information.
We've had channels taken down from nearly every form of social media. We knew when you uttered the term fake news that you were up to something different. We're honored to contribute to this documentary on censorship.
I have only one thing to ask. I just only want to see accountability from somebody. Just pull that pin and throw that grenade already, buddy. That's all every American wants to see, is just some accountability for the crimes against us all. Thank you, sir. And long live the Republic.
Powerful. It's definitely going to be very powerful. I can't wait to release it. I know that we might have maybe a different date, but it's not going to be much further off than the original date
of the exchange in this.
Here we go. Okay. All right. Let me
Mel,
stop. Yeah. Yes.
Is that is it downloadable off of YouTube or Rumble or?
It is. Well, if they have an account, I think they can. I'm not sure, but a lot of people have software where they can physically download it. You know what I mean?
Well, it's just if they can download, a lot more people might be putting it in with, because not everyone does lives, right?
Right.
To play it. So, yeah, I mean, just to
I'll leave the
add
links
it in.
here. I'll leave the links here for both videos. This is a video that we just produced about a couple of weeks ago, which came out really, really good. And guys, if you got $5, $10, $20, the movie's free, but we need donations because we're trying to get as much exposure as possible. Because right now, the name itself, Dear Mr. President, is in the algorithms. They're blocking us. Look, I got a whopping 62 views on my channel, channel 2, and I got 14,000 plus people on the channel, but only 62 of you are allowed to watch. Tell me we're not being blocked. I mean, I was born at night, but not last night. I'm sorry, you know? So anyway, before we play that, I'm going to go ahead and put the link here. Boom. That's the one where if you want to donate, there's going to be an actual link down below where you can actually physically donate. And we're going to go ahead and play this video here in a second. All right. Share screen. Here we go. Can you guys see that?
Yes.
Yep.
All right.
Yeah.
Let me blow that up.
My name is Mel Carmine. This movie will be free to the general public to view in movie theaters and online when it is released. But let me be crystal clear. Freedom is not free. This documentary is still in production, and without your support, it may never reach the hearts and minds that need it most. While the enemy floods the world with lies and bullshit propaganda, we're putting everything on the line for you to expose the truth and defend our republic from collapsing into full-blown Marxist communism. This is America's final stand. If you understand what is truly at stake here, your donation isn't charity, it's your obligation. Whether it's $10, $50 or more, give what you can. Because if you can help and don't, what will you tell your grandchildren when they ask what side of history you were on in 2025? In the name of our almighty God, do the right thing. Help us finish this fight. Everyone's freedom depends on it. President Donald J. Trump cannot do this alone. Stand with him. Stand with America. Use the link below to donate.
So basically, bottom line is this: providing we could raise $1,000, $2,000, $5,000, $10,000, whatever it is, I'm spending all of that on advertising. I'm going to literally carpet bomb the living daylights out of the entire country with press release after press release after press release, because the name Dear Mr. President is going to spread like wildfire because they know who we're trying to talk to. Okay. And so $5, $10, $20. God, you guys go to Starbucks and drop $20 on a cup of coffee. You know, it's nothing. It's not a big deal. The movie is going to be completely free of charge. We have all the centers that have my technology in Cape Canaveral at Staying Alive. We got a bunch of centers. As a matter of fact, I had to get a little tough with them. I sent you an email that I think I carbon copied both my co-producers here, and I wasn't nice. I said, listen, if you're not with me, that means you're against me. Get with the program or get out of the way. And so I think I got their attention. I think we got like 7 more or 8 more centers this morning, and I'm sure from that email we're going to get probably 12 more, 15 more, 17 more. Who knows? That will come. I'm going to continuously pound that until they either opt out and they hate Mel Carmine, or they're going to come in and do the right thing. So, but that's that. I'll also put the actual video for the trailer. I got to find that. My content. Give me a second, guys. I got to walk myself through some of these applications here.
And if any, if you guys believe, if you really believe in what we're doing here with this film, please post it, on your own feed and your social media, or share it, through text with people, because the more people can be aware of this, the better, and it'll just help, it'll just help the message get out there.
Oh, it is downloadable on YouTube, I think.
There you go.
Oh, you got to be a member, premium. I never used YouTube.
Well, I just put the Rumble link there to the actual trailer. Spread that around, because even though we are being stifled also on Rumble, at least we got thousands of views on our video on Rumble. But we got I don't even know what we have on our main channel, to be quite frank with you. I'm curious to know. I'll give you those numbers just for hell of it.
I think it might be just the setting that allows people to download the trailer, and definitely.
Main channel, we got a whopping 5 days now. It's been up for 5 days. The 1 minute and 10-second video where we're asking for donations, whopping 431 views. Wow. And the actual trailer, I probably bet you it's not over 1,000. See if I can find it. Here it is. 1,100 3 weeks ago. You see what I'm saying? All right. And with some of our videos get thousands of views, like Elisa's video recently with Larry Ballard got almost 8,000, or I think she's probably over 8,000 views. So, and we used to get a lot more views. I mean, look, this is what we're fighting. We're fighting censorship. This is a real fight. This is not a bullshit fight. And I know, I wish that I could tell you that all of the podcasters are all on board with me. No. But a lot of them are. A lot of the medium-sized podcasters, a lot of the smaller podcasters are all in, because they realize they have talent and they should be much bigger than what they are. And they know that they're being stifled. I'm not the only one. So we're pleading with you guys, because, listen, if I have to put every receipt up on my website to prove to you that if I raise $5,000, I'm spending $5,000 on press releases, I'll do it, whatever it takes. Put my feet to the fire. I'm good for it, believe me. So I guess we had a great show. I know the flat earth really gets everybody stirred up, and it always does for some reason. But you know what? I want to know the truth. Frank wants to know the truth. I think everybody wants to know the truth. If it's round, great. You know what? To be quite honest with you, I've said this many times. I want it to be round. I've been so indoctrinated and brainwashed that it's round. I want it to be round.
And by the way, I got a really important piece of information. You remember that map you showed before in that video, that flat map?
Yeah.
That was the official map used by navigators, both plane and boats, until 1878. That map is a real map, okay? It was used for hundreds of years.
Yeah.
Okay. So what is interesting when you look at the mathematics of it, is that the mathematics, all the functions and the both the calculus function of sine and cosine on the curvatures and the measurements, they work in both instances. They work if the earth was flat or a globe the formulas don't change. They work either way. That's what's incredible. It's that mathematically you can obtain the same results, whether it's a globe or whether it's a circular flat surface. That's what's mind-boggling, because the distances basically become very similar, because a globe is a three-dimensional, it's a sphere, and the other way is a circle, but still it's a circle. So mathematically you get very similar results. So like you said, somebody else, it would be nice to know, but maybe in a few years we all gonna know anyway. And it would be a great thing, because they must be keeping a secret for whatever reason. I don't know why. Just like they're keeping Antarctica secret. Like, you cannot go on vacation, and then people are going to argue, you cannot go on vacation Antarctica, but then people are going to argue, yeah, you can go. Yes, it's a guided tour. You got to pay $25,000. You go to, and I checked into it. At $25,000 is the shit tour, is the cheapest. People spend between $25,000 to $75,000 to go to Antarctica for quote unquote vacation, because they're curious and they have a hotel, a place to stay, and you got to pay in advance, and they tell you where to go and what to do. You cannot venture into past the wall of Antarctica. You cannot. So nobody can actually. Only sanctioned military operations. And once you pass that thing, it's going to be top secret. And nobody knows about it. Nobody knows anything else. So they work over there. They measure the ice. Then they do tests. They have labs, all of that good stuff. But they do other stuff that is top secret that nobody knows. But when you get to the point that you want to travel there, they give you this bullshit line. They say you can pay, you can come over, you can stay here for 10 to 2 weeks, but you cannot do anything else. You can do only what they allow you to do. It's not like I take a vacation in Florida and I can go all over Florida, right? Of course, I may not be going on a military base or anything, but that's not the same thing. In Antarctica, past a certain thing, it's everything like a military base. You cannot go, period. You cannot fly over it. You cannot do any of that. So that's another issue that I have, similar to the Earth shape. Like I said, I don't care what the shape is. I really couldn't care less.
Me neither. I just want to know the truth.
And I want to know what's behind Antarctica. Those are the two questions that I've had for the past 20 years now. What's behind Antarctica, and what is the shape of the place that I live on?
Yeah.
Just tell me. Don't bullshit.
And Frank, what if like we're all sitting here, I think someone in the comments said it, and we're all arguing about this, and we're all preoccupied in background. Is it flat? Is it this? And what if, they're laughing at us because what are they doing? They're going underground, and they're going all around the world in 10 minutes to get from 6,000 miles using these maglev kind of technology that they're using. And what if there is no space per se where we go up into space? What if we're going through wormholes? What if we're going through portals? What if Antarctica is a place where there's portals, and that's where they don't want us to go because we're getting all distracted with going into space and pictures from space. Maybe that's not even happening. Maybe there's portals, and that's how people are going from these different places, and spaceships come in and out. So we're getting so distracted by kind of the nonsense of everything when we're not really maybe looking at the right questions to ask.
Elisa, I saw compelling evidence. Sorry, go ahead.
I was going to say, you just have to ask the Bohr machine. Are they curving it when they're making a straight line, even in the tunnels? If you're saying 8 inches per 8 mile, whatever it is, it doesn't work out because the machine only goes straight. I don't ever see the machine going.
Yeah. I saw compelling evidence, very compelling, of aircraft leaving the moon, landing on the moon, and on the dark side of the moon. Of course, while they were doing that, they were passing through the side of the moon that we can see. Okay. You got to be very detailed because people will challenge it for stupidity. But the thing is this. I think we are on the moon, but we did not get there with the Apollo. We got there some other way, because there is what's called a secret space program. I believe there is one, and there's been there for a long time. because you don't make disappear $2.3 trillion. And that's just as we know, as late as 2001, God knows how much money was stolen before
September 10th.
that.
Yeah. September, right.
Yeah.
September 12th,
Yeah.
rather.
So if you give everything to the big guy, I think that notion giving it to the big guy has been around for probably a few hundred years now, and somebody has been skimming off the top the government to do some sort of secret programs. But having stated that, it's not about. I want to make clear, to me, it's not about a fixation that, oh, I believe the earth is. No, that's not that. I just want to know the truth. That's it. I couldn't care less what shape it was. I hope I'm getting that across. I don't care. I couldn't care.
Yeah.
But I do care, because the moment I discovered the government is lying to me for that thing, what else are they lying about?
Everything.
And that's what it.
Everything.
Right. Exactly. So it's important to use those arguments for a reason, because and by the way, the Flat Earth Society, that's CIA, and that's the Society for Flat Earth. Don't trust them. Those are the guys that started all of this BS. The Flat Earth Society, it's a CIA run organization. I don't care what anybody says. So, and then you have some real good people in the movement, so to speak, that they really do engineering analysis. They do mathematical analysis. They're not these freaks that just go on YouTube and go, the earth is flat. That's it. You've been lied to. I mean, there's really, and a lot of these people that they do it scientifically, you don't even know their names, because they are afraid for their lives, because they might have PhDs in mathematics and physics, and they are the ones saying the earth is flat, and they do documents. They go under pseudonyms. They don't give their real names. They don't show their face on YouTube. Nobody knows who they are. And some of those people that were originally involved with the Flat Earth Society, and then the Flat Earth Society was hijacked by the CIA and turned into a fool's errand. So everybody thinks the Flat Earth Society, they're a bunch of idiots and crazy people. And then they just do propaganda, and they make anybody that says the word flat earth, is crazy. That guy is a nutcase. Therefore, I reverse the argument. I don't care. I'm not saying the earth is flat, but I want to know what it is. Show me. And whatever you're showing me, I can prove the data you show me is false. Therefore, that's all I'm saying is show me the reality. That's all I want to know.
I've seen some really, really compelling short 2, 3, 4 minute videos, 5-minute videos, 8-minute videos on flat earth that are so convincing that it's just basic math. You can't argue with math. It's like arguing with a pregnant woman that tells you she's pregnant and you telling her she's not pregnant. You're either pregnant or you ain't fucking pregnant.
Right.
There's over like I said, there's over 200. I got to find those questions. There's 200 elements that prove beyond doubt that with the data we've been given by the government, it's false. That are 200 points. And so that's what we are saying. We are not saying the argument is now whether something is round or flat. The argument is whether the government is telling us the truth on the data analysis that they provide to us. That's the issue.
Yeah.
The argument should be, give me the data and let me test it for myself. Can I replicate it? If I cannot replicate it, then somebody's bullshitting here. That's the scientific method. We don't want to recreate science. Science is defined by the scientific method. The scientific method is very simple. As long as you follow the scientific method, you are actually performing science. And it has to be replicable. You need to replicate the same test. So if Elisa does a test, and the test as an outcome, and I do the same test, and the test has got the same outcome as Elisa, we are doing science and we are being consistent, and we can say that that hypothesis, which then becomes a theorem, it becomes truth and can be tested and replicated within a certain type of environment. Unless you change the environment, the test will be the same. That's called science. So NASA forgot to do science, And when they cannot do it, they say, we lost the telemetry tapes. I'm sorry. How can you lose it? I don't know. The janitor, somebody lost the key. They give you bullshit, but in the end, they lost 20,000 tapes of telemetry from the original moon missions. That is unforgivable, unacceptable. There's no such way that somebody can lose 20,000 tapes. Okay, you lose 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 100, 150, but not 20,000. I mean, come on. It's
Some
like
extraterrestrial gangster just pulled up to the craft, said, "We want your tapes." Who the hell knows? You know?
And then when you see one of the biggest testing facility at NASA is the swimming pool, and then when because they say that it replicates the movement of hypergravity, and therefore you test astronauts in the swimming pool. But then when you see some, and I've seen this, I actually saw it, videos of the walk on a space station. And these are videos from NASA, not videos from somebody that then did editing and then posted, downloaded directly from NASA.
Sure.
And you can see the bubbles coming out of the suit.
It's a bullshit story.
You got to pay attention when they do the walk. A few times they've done the walk in the past 10 years. There's about 3 or 4 videos out there of actual bubbles coming out of a space suit. And I mean, there's so many inconsistencies, and nobody wants to answer. And the moment you point the finger, you say, okay, I'm going to give you an original video. They just raise their hands and they don't want to talk to you anymore. They just don't want to talk. They stop talking.
Yeah.
So that there's too much information that makes me doubt. I really doubt what they're doing. It's a good thing.
Yeah. Well, somebody wants to come on a show that they got supposedly documents. So, sir, whoever you are, send an email to QFS1776@gmail.com. QFS1776@gmail.com. Say on the top, I want to come on your show, and put flat earth in parentheses. We'll know who you are and we'll get you on. If you got a smoking gun, we want to see the smoking gun. Absolutely. I love smoking guns.
Yeah. Well, they also said to bring Flat Earth Dave on, which
let's go. Yeah. Let's bring him on.
I have his contact.
Let's get him on.
I have his contact.
So you guys, just so you know, I know a couple of people commented. Laura was on a flight. That's why she's not here today.
Correct.
George Lewis,
they're having had a bad case of hemorrhoids. No, only joking.
They had a hurricane over in the UK, so he got kind of that. And I think Mike had some personal things he had to take care of today. So that's where those guys are. So we didn't fire anyone.
No, we're not firing anybody.
Yeah, I believe we're
guys. We want to add a Wednesday. We want to add a Friday, a forecast Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and then in between I'll do personal interviews. I'm going to be doing interviews with Frank here soon. He doesn't know that, but Frank and I, between his shit and my shit, and you meet both of us, the chances of you living to be 200 years old just went up by like 800%, right? Because we got that kind of shit going on. And when he comes on and he explains to you what he's got, and you know what I got, and you combine that shit, that's like a nuclear bomb for amazing health. Because whether it's flat or round, I want to be here to spend all my fucking money. That's one thing for sure, right? I'll spend my money on a flat earth, a round earth, a square earth, a rectangular earth. I don't give a shit. Just give me my money, give me my health. I want to be able to be healthy and enjoy my money, right? And between him and I, we got the recipe. You want to stay tuned for that because we're coming at you soon.
Well, I believe we're on a realm, and it's we're a plane of existence, and it's whatever, everything is energy and consciousness. So if we can see it as a globe, or I see it as a toroidal field of energy, and it creates around us. So the more, and they keep us in the third dimension, which is the third chakra. or energy center or power center, which is the solarplex area. So we give away our power to their belief systems, to their systems, whatever. And it keeps us in the lower 3 energy centers, which is power or poverty consciousness, victim consciousness, or savior consciousness. Everyone's waiting for someone to come down from the sky and save everyone. Well, that ain't going to happen. So it's the Christed light within that we need to bring up and create our own toroidal field.
Yes.
And on the earth, in Mayan tradition, because I study a lot of cosmology through the Mayans, and then we call it a noosphere. So we're creating a noosphere, and we've got to be at peace to create that noosphere, or a double rainbow. When we hit that double rainbow,
you get your territories ready, because at some time in the future, Carol, I'm coming down to Costa Rica. Get the mud, get the seaweed ready, wrap me in seaweed and mud. Just don't cut me up like a sushi roll, okay? And get me the best massage therapist. I want to sit by the river outside with some breeze blowing on my balls.
Well, we've got a beautiful new garden we've just built the last couple of weeks, which is called Grandma Rainbow's Garden. It's at the Rainbow Bridge. So it's a sweat lodge, traditional Lakota sweat lodge that is run here, community sweats. So yeah, I donated part of the property here to do the community sweats, and Grandma Rainbow was pretty special.
I'm all for it.
I'm in.
Yeah. Oh, we got lots of other things too, right? You know, copper pyramids and copper water, and lots of things.
Absolutely.
Well, guys, Carol, I agree with you. I have a tendency of agreeing with you a lot more towards that kind of a structure.
Yeah.
That it has to be a complex structure that they don't want us to know, because if we were to know, it would empower us, because that's the only reason why they're keeping it a secret. There's no other reason. Why would they keep it a secret? They keep it a secret because if we were to know the information, we could leverage it for ourselves and our own growth and our own discoveries, and somehow that's a secret they want to keep from everybody, which I find it to be criminal. But
they want to keep us in the dark. They want to keep us in the dark, and the more light we shine in on all the distrust creates distrust, because they're not telling us the truth. Correct. So we keep shining, and all the cockroaches are going everywhere, so
the swamp creatures. Yeah.
Let's close with this. If you guys want to get in touch with Elisa Valentino, if you're a movie theater, or if you're an independent movie theater, or you're a patriotic movie theater, if you got a big corporation, or you're the Hells Angels, or another motorcycle club called the Nose Pickers, I don't care. Okay, if you want to show your movie at your motorcycle club, at your corporation, in the luncheonette, at some church in the basement, I don't care. You get in touch with Elisa. Elisa, how did they get in touch with you?
Just email me. Email me at elisavl16@gmail.com, or you could call me 516-493-1742. I'm here to work that out with you guys.
Great. And if we actually do raise, $5,000-$10,000, we're going to list all of the people, all the entities that are going to be showing the movie at the Scalar Wave centers, at the Hells Angel centers, at the Nose Picker centers, all of them. So there is actually a motorcycle club in the Meadowlands in East Rutherford, New Jersey. Actually called them. I don't know if they're still around, but they used to be called. If they're still around, they're called the Nose Pickers. I know, because we got into a fight with them years ago. All right, guys. We'll see you on the next one.
All right.
Okay.
Bye.
Thank you.
Bye.